Dear students, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Arfat Mujib from FEI Higher Secondary Institute, Navgaon. Today is my lecture number 3, Biology 9th, and topic is nitrogen cycle. It including the chapter natural resources. In the nitrogen cycle, there is a cycling of the nitrogen nutrient. Nitrogen in the atmosphere is the most abundant gas, that 78% by volume it is found in the atmosphere, and most abundant gas, inert type gas, that is less reactive towards other gaseous substances, towards other compounds on recombination or during any chemical reactions. And it is also present in the upper reach of atmosphere. Nitrogen is an essential element, macronutrient, is importantly needed by all plants for their growth and development. As this essential element is needed by plants in the synthesis of proteins, and proteins are the body building component. It is used up in the formation of the cell membrane, other cell components like ribosomes and nucleotides, that nuclear material that is found in the nucleus of the cell, and these proteins are also used up in the formation of the various enzymes, various hormones, other biomolecules act as messengers in our bodies, and that in short that proteins are very important as a bodybuilding component. It is needed by plants, but the basic element, basic constituent element for the proteins as a biomolecules is the nitrogen, as the nitrogen is the basic building unit of all proteins and needed by the plants. Then plants have much more importance of such nitrogen. Plants obtain that type of nitrogen. By this nitrogen cycle, these plants are unable to take directly in by the atmosphere, as these plants take carbon dioxide gas and or oxygen gas by the atmosphere. Therefore, the availability of nitrogen in gaseous state in the atmosphere make it available by various ways, by various means. There is a fixation of nitrogen in the Earth's crust, and hence the nitrogen cycle is a biogeochemical cycle. It occupies both the components of the environment, abiotic component, that is Earth's atmosphere, Earth's water part, hydrosphere part, lithosphere part. There is atmospheric part of the Earth, there is a contribution, and then there is a contribution of biotic components, and there is a cycling between the biotic and abiotic components. Hence it is a biogeochemical cycle. And chemical here is a nitrogen-like constituent unit for protein synthesis. It is cycling, hence takes place. Then it is availability in various compound forms like nitrate form, like ammonium form, like ammonia form, like the nitrite form. By these means, by these compounds, plant then make it is possible uptake and make availability of nitrogen in this mean in their body. Then this nitrogen is used up in the synthesis of amino acids, or as you know that all amino acids are basic units of proteins, different proteins. And animals are also need proteins, therefore they have also the need of this nutrient nitrogen like element. Animals, you know, in a food chain, what type of animals? Herbivores, carnivores, omnivorous, top carnivorous, they have also a need of the proteins, hence they are dependent on plants to obtain this protein. When this protein in a food chain reaches in the animal body, then it is known as the animal proteins, and plants show important role in the synthesis of first protein synthesis, and they have direct interrelation with the abiotic adiabatic factor, that is soil. By the soil it obtains this type of nutrient by various means and make their availability in their body in the formation of proteins. Then they are in plant body, they are the plant proteins. We human beings are omnivorous in nature. We depend in a food chain, we are dependent sometimes on animals, sometimes on plants. We sometimes we also take the animal proteins, we also take the plant proteins, as the proteins are the body building component, as the cells can be developed, then tissues, then organ system. In the whole our body can be, and there can our body can grow and develop, and cell repairing take place when there is there is availability of proteins in our bodies, and there is a smooth metabolism in our body because of these proteins. All enzymes are made up of the proteins. Proteins play important role in the metabolic mechanisms. Then later we proceed here. In the nitrogen cycle, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere is the most abundant gas. It is the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, here in the atmosphere here, nitrogen in the N2, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, I already told you 78% by volume it is present in our atmosphere. Inert gas, and plants are unable to take this gas directly, as it is an important constituent unit for protein synthesis. Then there is three types of nitrogen fixation in a nitrogen cycle. I will mention one by one on the board. There are three ways by which nitrogen fixation takes place in the soil. First one is first one is there is the atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Atmospheric nitrogen fixation. In atmospheric nitrogen fixation, and it is also a natural fixation of nitrogen gas. In this atmospheric nitrogen fixation, you know that in the atmosphere there is the nitrogen gas most abundant, and in the atmosphere, and also in the atmosphere you have, I believe, there is oxygen gas as well, and there takes place some natural phenomenon. There are the lightning take place, and there sometimes there is a flow of ultraviolet radiations, UV radiations, So these natural, by the help of these phenomena as the source of energy, lightning sometimes there is full of ultraviolet radiations as they supply the energy, and the combination of both the gases substance, nitrogen gas and oxygen gas in the atmosphere. There is a combination reaction. Here take place the NO. Here take place the NO. Still it is in the gasicity. It is the nitric oxide, and sometimes it is also known as the nitrogen monoxide gas. This nitric oxide, or you can say this nitrogen monoxide gases in state. Here is the 2 times both are the 2 times, then I placed here 2, which is balance. Nitrogen oxide, nitrogen monoxide gas, then there take place another reaction. This nitric oxide formation takes place in the atmosphere. Natural process with the help of these phenomena take place a combination reaction. Now nitric oxide here 2 times reactive with you also have believe there or in the atmosphere there is water vapors in gaseous state here again take place, and again both the phenomena supply the energy here due to the lightning or due to the ultraviolet radiation. Here is again the chemical reaction here, nitric oxide, then here gaseous state are reactive with the water vapors in the atmosphere leads to the formation of here HNO2. Here leads the formation of HNO2 aqueous state में बनेगा यहाँ पे, और HNO3 और दूसरा HNO3 ये भी aqueous state में बनेगा दोनों. So here is the formation of the nitrite acid and nitrate acid. Here it is the name it as nitrite acid. Here it is the formation of nitrate acid. Here nitrate acid. Here either the nitrite acid or nitrate acid, in both the compounds formation takes place in the atmosphere. Here it is a source of nitrogen. Here it is also a source of nitrogen. Here when they take place, then their formation takes place in the atmosphere. It is the atmospheric fixation of nitrogen gas. Whenever there take place any precipitation like the rain, like the snowfall, these acids reaches to the earth's surface, then mix up in the soil as these compounds or each contain the nitrogen, and these are the sources of the nitrogen. This is the atmospheric nitrogen fixation, and natural fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. Then in this way these acids with the help of rain goes to the soil, then these act as the source of nitrogen. Then there is also the interconversion of these compounds in the soil. It is here the mechanism, they convert into another compound, then they are in the other compound form. Plants take that compound which is reaching the nitrogen. It is a nitrogen fixation. How first the nitrogen gas there was, how their occurrence takes place, how they reach to the soil by the rain. They reach to the by the rain reaches to the, then they reach to the soil. Then here is the availability of this, and there is the availability of. Now we move ahead on this. Then second, मैंने बता दिया all the 3 ways of the fixation of the nitrogen. Another second way is, then there is then there is another way of second. I am mentioned here. The second point here is the Heaviness process or industrial fixation of the nitrogen. It is the Heaviness process. Heaviness process. It is the artificial, or we can say it is the artificial. It is the artificial fixation of artificial industrial process. It is the man-made food process where there is the formation of the ammonium salt, or urea formation. These compounds are rich in the nitrogen. Then we make availability in the market to have the urea-like fertilizers, to have other chemical fertilizers rich in the nitrogen-like component. And then we make the artificial means of chemical fertilizers make available to the farmers to have chemical fertilizers rich in the nitrogen, and to make the availability in their crop fields. If there is the crop cultivation, then there is a huge yield of the high yield of the crop in their fields. Then here is the artificial industrial process, Heaviness process. In the Heaviness process, how this Heaviness process takes place? Industrial process, man-made effort there is. Then here we can say that in this we take the H2 hydrogen gas. We take hydrogen gas. Then we combine it with the nitrogen gas. Here is the combination of the hydrogen gas and the nitrogen gas. It is an endothermic reaction. Needs energy combination to combine hydrogen gas with the nitrogen. Then here the formation of the ammonia. Here is the formation of the ammonia. Here nitrogen gas. Here is the formation of ammonia. Here I place 2 times, here 2 times 3 to our 6. Here you place the 3, here 3 to our 6. It is now balanced. It is also the ammonia in gaseous state. Here the ammonia formation takes place. Ammonia. Also the ammonia is a compound, inorganic compound, rich in the nitrogen-like component. It is also rich in nitrogen, and we make this it is availability in the soil as a source of the nitrogen. Then plant can directly take up nitrogen by the ammonia. Or then this process again are dependent on that when there is the formation of ammonia gas, then it will combine it the carbon dioxide. Then here हम इसको कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के साथ रिएक्ट कराते हैं. Again it needs the energy here in the combination of both the gases. Then here is the formation of on combination of ammonia. There is a combination, chemical combination with the carbon dioxide gas. Here is the formation of the urea. Urea is also a rich source of nitrogen. It is a rich source of nitrogen. Urea, rich source of nitrogen. आपने नाम सुना होगा urea as a chemical fertilizer. They are made available to the farmers. Have the supply of this urea as its supply. This chemical fertilizer is contain the nitrogen, and we make the supply of the nitrogen to the plants when we make it available in the soil. Here it is another way, Heaviness process, artificial industrial process, by which we make the urea. Then of having the urea is rich in the nitrogen-like element, macronutrient essentially needed by all plants for their growth and development. Now is the third is the process, biological fixation of the atmospheric nitrogen. Biological fixation. Here is the biological fixation of nitrogen. How biological fixation takes place? It is the third step here. Third means by which we can make the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. Plants are unable to directly take it. Then is the biological atmospheric fixation of nitrogen. Biological atmospheric nutrition is a contribution of various microorganisms that are especially of the symbiotic microorganisms. Have the contribution of symbiotic microorganisms. It is a contribution of symbiotic microorganisms play important role in the biological fixation of the atmosphere. Or sometimes there is the free living microorganisms. It is the A, it is the B here. There are also the free living microorganisms. Free living microorganisms also are important in the fixation of biological atmospheric nitrogen. Biological here refer to the living creatures. Here it refers that microbes play important role in the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. Symbiotic, there are symbiotic microorganisms, and there are some in the soil. And there are the free living microorganisms in the soil. In the soil, they make the free availability of the nitrogen in the soil. Then symbiotic microorganisms, they show the process of symbiosis. Symbiosis is the process where the different organisms are dependent to each other. One cannot survive by the others, that they are totally dependent on each other. As you might have an example in your ears that rhizobium bacteria is a symbiotic in nature. They live in root nodules of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants are those plants which have essential need of nitrogen. Then they in their body there is a rich proteins. They are protein rich plants. In their seeds, in their buds, there are the proteins. As you might have heard about the peas, grams, groundnuts, beans, pulses. These are various cereals. Wheat, maize, they take the nitrogen. They have importantly needed of this component, as such plants are rich in the proteins and the plant protein, rich in plant proteins, as we are totally dependent on these plants for the proteins. And as you in a leguminous plants, you have seen that there are the symbiotic bacteria lives in their root nodules. As I talk about here the example here is the rhizobium. Rhizobium as a bacteria, it is a bacteria. It lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants. जो भी leguminous plants है, बात करेंगे हम उन plants की, that I talk about pea bearing plants, pea plants, and commonly they have the name beans, which bear the beans, and groundnut. These plants, as we can see, these are the various of the examples here. I mentioned here some examples here. They bear the nodules in their roots. Root here they bear nodules in their nodules. There are the वहाँ पे रहता उनके nodules root here में rhizobium bacteria. They show the symbiotic association with as this bacteria take the shelter, food by the plant, and the plant provide what the plant obtain. Then it obtain the nitrogen in the compound form, as that nitrogen carrying compound is supplied by this rhizobium, so that the plant can synthesize proteins in their body. And protein is important, I already told you. That is here the symbiotic microorganisms here. The rhizobium is a common example. There are other species of the bacteria which shows the process of symbiosis, symbiotic in nature. Then I talk about here the part free living microorganisms. Free living microorganisms are the cyanobacteria, commonly known as the billow green algae. In a billow green algae, I talk about the nostoc, oscillatoria, anabina. These are the free living microorganisms are available, are freely reside in the soil and make the availability of the nitrogen in the compound form, and when nitrogen it is in the compound nitrate, ammonia in form, ammonium in form, ammonia nitrate in form, then that by taking of those compounds, plants take up the nitrogen. Free living azotobacteria, clostridium, other examples there are the free living bacteria which make us available of nitrogen in the soil. This is the last and the third one process here, about the nitrogen cycle. Here the main process takes place in the nitrogen cycle. Before we study the nitrogen cycle, some important processes take place. There are 4 main steps that take place in the nitrogen cycle. Before you go to the nitrogen cycle, first of all, we should have a look on the 4 steps. The first one is here in this assimilation of nitrogen. Assimilation of nitrogen. Assimilation of nitrogen में क्या होता है, जो भी nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, now it is available in the soil in compound form. In assimilation इसका मतलब कहते हैं जो soil में होता है. अब ये जो soil में nitrogen होता है, nitrogen in inorganic compound form. सॉइल में क्या होता है, नाउ इन द सॉइल, ये जो सॉइल में जो नाइट्रोजन होता है, नाउ दिस इन द सॉइल this nitrogen is available in inorganic compound form. Now they are taken up by the plants. By the soil it is taken up by the plants. It is taken up by the plants. Plants कहाँ से लेते हैं? They have the root hairs with the help of, they have the direct uptake of these compounds. I name these compounds. I talk about the ammonia. There is the chances of uptake. There is the nitrate form में भी plant लेते हैं. Nitrate form में ammonia form में plant लेते हैं. या we make the artificial availability of the urea. Here these are the following compounds. There is also the ammonium. Here are the various compounds, inorganic compounds. Nitrogen is present in such compounds. Here the plants uptake. When the plants uptake these following inorganic chemical compounds in a soluble in state, then there is directly absorption by the root hairs. The plants uptake such inorganic nitrogen containing inorganic compounds. Then there is a possible protein synthesis in their bodies. There is possible protein synthesis in their bodies. Then they are on the plant proteins, protein synthesis, when the plants make the available of this. This is known as the assimilation of the nitrogen. Assimilation of nitrogen. Now second is it is an important system. First of all, there is the assimilation of nitrogen. As the nitrogen compounds are taken up by the plants. Now plants are interconvert in their body cells. Then make it possibly use of it nitrogen, and in their own way they give the permission. There is the synthesis of various proteins. That it is the assimilation of nitrogen. Most important it is. Now then second one is there important steps associated with the nitrogen cycle. First is the assimilation of the nitrogen. as a nitrogen in the soil is available in inorganic compound form, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, ammonium. So, by these means plant make it as uptake and utilize it in the formation of the protein, which is the assimilation of nitrogen. Now second is the, I talk about the second is the ammonification, important steps. Ammonification. अमोनिफिकेशन में क्या होता है, सेकंड स्टेप आता है नाइट्रोजन साइकिल में. अमोनिफिकेशन नाम से पता चलता है. अभी मैंने कहा कि हाइब्रिस प्रोसेस में क्या बना, अमोनिया, या जब भी देयर इज ऑर्गेनिक डिकम्पोजिशन ऑफ plant matter, animal matter, human excreta, animal excreta, then there is organic decomposition of organic matter, there is a formation of the ammonia as a byproduct is releasing in the earth's crust, then there is a microbial conversion of the ammonia into other compounds. It is known as the ammonification. Now in the ammonification, what a compound is, ये कहाँ से बना, मैंने अभी बताया कि जब भी प्लांट की डेथ होती है, एनिमल की डेथ होती है, उनकी एनिमल एक्सक्रीटा जो होता है और अदर ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट, तो उनकी क्या होती है, उनकी होती है माइक्रोबियल डिकम्पोजिशन इन द सॉइल एनारोबिक वे में. तो anaerobic decomposition of the those organic matter and convert the organic matter into the ammonia. And there are also some bacteria, free living bacteria की अभी मैं बात कर रहा था, free living bacteria also make up ammonia in the soil by, अभी मैंने कहा वो nitrite acid जब भी बारिश के साथ नीचे आता है, their conversion slowly take place in the ammonia. And in the ammonification process, it takes place in the soil in a nitrogen cycle. This process takes place in the soil. Ammonia is converted here. It is a bacterial action here. There, ammonification takes place. This ammonia changes into the it changes into the nitrite. Here in this ammonification, ammonia compound changes into the nitrite. And this nitrite is insoluble. It is insoluble, containing inorganic insoluble nitrogen containing inorganic compound, insoluble in water. That means it have instability. It has instability in the soil. Nitrite bana yahan pe ammonia se. When there is a conversion of simply ammonia as in the nitrite, this is known as the ammonification. There is a ammonia conversion. यहाँ पे क्या होता है? This ammonia, it is a bacterial decomposition of dead organic matter. There is the formation of the nitrite. तो here यहाँ पे क्या होता है, जहाँ जो भी कंपाउंड्स होते हैं, यहाँ पे क्या होता है, सॉरी यहाँ पे मैंने बताया इसको, यहाँ पे अम्लीफिकेशन में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. जो डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर होता है असल में उनके मैंने यहाँ पे गलत बताया, यहाँ पे सॉरी, आई हैव टू मेंशन हियर, रॉन्गली आई मेंशन हियर. यहाँ पे क्या बनता है, सो आई विल राइट हियर, सॉरी गलत बताया मैंने. यहाँ पे जो ऑर्गेनिक डेड, असल में जो डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर है, गलत बताया मैंने. यहाँ पे इसको ठीक कर दो. यहाँ पे अम्लीफिकेशन में जो डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर होता है, चाहे प्लांट्स, एनिमल्स हो, एनिमल एक्सक्रीटा हो, उनमें डिकम्पोजिशन होती है. असल में उनमें इन चीजों की क्या होती है, डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर की क्या होती है, एनएरोबिक decomposition. There is anaerobic decomposition in soil, anaerobic decomposition of dead organic matter, plants, animals, their byproducts, their excreta, their other agriculture wastes, and their slow conversion. It is a slow conversion. It is a burial decomposition. Then here takes place the formation. इनसे ही निकलता है ammonia. Because you have a belief on that in our body there is also a component nitrogen. Various cells are made of. मैंने बताया इससे पहले nitrogen play important role in the synthesis of the cell formation of tissues. Body, हमारे body, animal body में, plant body में यकीनन तो nitrogen as a component होगा. So there is a cycling. Here is the conversion of the dead body, organic excreta. Their conversion is of ammonia. That it is known as the process ammonification में. Ammonification में यहाँ पे इससे पहले जो मैंने बताया उसको गलत है, ये सही है. This is the correct one. That here the dead organic matter, animals, organic matter, that conversion takes place here ammonia. That it is the ammonification. There is the formation of ammonia, and this process ammonification takes place in the soil. Ammonification. This is the symbol ammonification. Then this ammonification contains the nitrogen. It is the source of the nitrogen, and the nitrogen, when the plant directly take up, it obtains this nitrogen and is utilized. Then we move ahead. It is the second step. Then third step, important step you have to mention. Now the third step it is here. Then nitrification takes place. Nitrification here. Nitrification is of असल में ये दो स्टेप उसमें कंप्लीट होता है. फर्स्ट इज द नाइट्रिफिकेशन. एक पार्ट में लिखता हूँ. Nitrification. It is nitrification first. Then second is the nitrification. ये दो स्टेप उसमें होता है. Nitrification takes place in two steps. First one is the nitrification first, and B part then is the nitrification second. In the nitrification first, what take place here? There इससे पहले जो अमोनिया बना था, अमोनिफिकेशन में यहाँ पे जो अमोनिया है इसकी कन्वर्शन होता है. अमोनिया की कन्वर्शन इसमें A पार्ट की बात करना. I talk about the A part. नाइट्रिफिकेशन फर्स्ट में, इसके बाद थर्ड स्टेप है नाइट्रोजन साइकिल में होता है. ये अमोनिया जो है, अमोनिया चेंज होता है इसमें यहाँ नाइट्राइट में. अब नाइट्राइट में चेंज हुआ ये NO2 में और माइनस में. इट इज अ नाइट्राइट. व्हेन देयर इज अ, कभी कभार ये वन वर्ड एग्जाम में आता है, it is important and question in the higher up examination, that when there is a conversion of ammonia into the nitrite, and this is known as a nitrification. What nitrification first, and it is a bacterial action. It takes place by the bacteria known as a nitrosomonas. It takes place with the help of the bacteria known as the nitrosomonas. When this type of bacteria convert the ammonia, इससे पहले जो बना ammonification में, then it is converted into the nitrite. And when there is a formation of nitrite in the soil, it is known as that it is insoluble in water. It remains often insoluble in water. Then it has instability in nitrogen cycle, this nitrite, and plants are unable to utilize it directly as a nitrite. Insolubility in water nature. Then there is a quick conversion of nitrite into nitrate. Here is the B part. I will mention it here. I will erase this one. Here B part is second now. Now second B part here is the nitrification second में. B part में मैंने इसको दिखाया यहाँ पे. Nitrification second में क्या होगा? यही जो है नाइट्राइट जो है नाइट्राइट चेंज होगा, अब इसकी कन्वर्शन होगी, बैक्टीरियल कन्वर्शन है, बैक्टीरियल डिपेंडेंट है, बैक्टीरियल प्रोसेस है. It take place by the nitrobacter. Nitrobacter, with the help of the nitrobacter is the bacteria which convert the nitrite into nitrate. Now nitrate, what is that? It is the nitrite. Here I already, its formation takes place in the nitrification first. Here is the nitrite, it is formation से बता, insolubility in water है तो क्विक कन्वर्शन होती है इसको नाइट्रेट में, NITRAT, नाइट्रेट में चेंज हुआ ये, नाइट्रेट में it is now soluble. This type of soluble in water, plant almost take up the nitrate, as nitrate is a source of nitrogen. It is uptake take place by the plants, by the plant roots. It is uptake is possible and is available in the plant body. Nitrate soluble in water, then it is the nitrification. What it is? It is the nitrification. Second, wherein nitrite conversion takes place of nitrate, and this process is take place in the soil, and it is a bacterial dependent chemical reaction. The biological fixation of the nitrogen. It is the third setup, nitrification. Now fourth setup in the nitrogen cycle, it is the denitrification. Denitrification. Here I will erase this board. Denitrification. Here take place the fourth last setup in the nitrogen cycle. कभी बार एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है इन सेटअप्स को, आपको एक एक दो मार्क इसका होता है क्वेश्चन. Denitrification. It is opposite of the nitrification. Denitrification में क्या होता है, जो अब सॉइल में नाइट्रेट होता है, हाँ नाइट्रेट जो होता है, in the soil there is the nitrate, इसकी कन्वर्शन होती है किसमें, नाइट्रोजन गैस. साइकिल कहा जाता है नाइट्रोजन साइकिल को, नाइट्रोजन को साइकिल, नाइट्रोजन साइकिल. साइकिलिंग में क्या होता है, यहाँ इसकी वापस एग्जिस्टेंस होती है. In all biogeochemical cycle, when any constituent is utilized, when any constituent is consumed up, it is regeneration is there, it is releasing way is there. That is known as the cycle. Cycle makes the availability and it makes it as regeneration. So in a cycle there is consumption way, and in a cycle there is regenerative way. Here is the regenerative way. That means denitrification is a regeneration process. It is a regeneration. What it is? Regeneration process. In this, the nitrate, excess nitrate in the soil, excess nitrate in the soil. Now it is conversion takes place in the nitrogen gas. Now the process denitrification, that the removal of the nitrogen gas back into the atmosphere to maintain this concentration, this normal concentration into the atmosphere. There is a regeneration process. Here is the, I will mention that here when it is before used up in various ways, it is the generation. It is generated here, nitrogen gas, nitrification here, etc. Also in the denitrification there is also the conversion of ammonia. Ammonia is also have a conversion into the nitrate convert nahi hota nitrogen gas. There is also the conversion of ammonia, excess ammonia in the soil back into the nitrogen gas. This is the denitrification. This denitrification is often takes place by the fungal species putrefying. That means some fungal species are responsible, which resides in the soil, which remains in the soil, fungal species, some of the bacterial species which carry out the denitrification, putrefying bacteria, putrefying bacteria cause this type of here the example here, the important example, the Pseudomonas. Example is the Pseudomonas type like bacteria shows the denitrification in the nitrogen cycle. Dear student, I will study this nitrogen cycle in two parts. Today is the first part of nitrogen cycle. Then in the lecture number 4, I will study the next part of the nitrogen cycle. How then nitrogen cycle takes place, how it is conversion takes place, how it is available, then is made in the soil now, how the plants take up. All the 4 steps I will show in the lecture number 4. In the lecture number 4, I will show all the 4 steps take place in the nitrogen cycle. This is the part first. Remember it. Part first of nitrogen cycle. In the next lecture number 4, inshallah, I am going to start the in lecture number 4 I will show you the completion diagram of the nitrogen cycle. This is all about today's nitrogen. Today I study in this, there are the 3 ways of nitrogen fixation. First one is the atmospheric nitrogen fixation, natural fixation. Then is the industrial fixation of the nitrogen, Heaviness process. Then is the biological fixation of nitrogen. And in this lecture number 3, I study you that there are the 4 major steps and important steps in the nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen assimilation, then second is the ammonification, third one is the nitrification, first nitrification, second in the nitrification, second there is the formation of nitrate, and it is the main source of the nitrogen available in the soil and taken up by the plants for the protein synthesis. And fourth one is denitrification. I hope you understand today lecture number 3 about the nitrogen cycle, and let us start this next part in the lecture number 4. Thank you.